Lakers Nation, what is going on? So today we have a very interesting Lakers trade proposal that would bring Aaron Gordon to Los Angeles in a massive 4-team deal involving the Lakers, the Denver Nuggets, the Detroit Pistons, and the Miami Heat. And honestly, Lakers Nation, this is one of those trades where the Lakers would have to ask themselves one major question. Do you want proven playoff experience right now, or do you want to keep betting on younger players with more upside? Because Aaron Gordon might actually be one of the most interesting fits the Lakers could possibly find next to Luka Doncic. According to a hypothetical trade proposal from Yahoo Sports and Heavy.com, the Lakers would receive Aaron Gordon along with 2 future second-round picks. Denver would receive Nikola Jovic, Jake LaRavia, and multiple future second-round picks. Detroit would receive Jared Vanderbilt and Dalton Knecht. And Miami would receive Cameron Johnson and Bronny James. Now obviously this is a hypothetical proposal and not a reported trade that is about to happen. But I want to break down why this could actually make sense for all 4 teams. And most importantly, would Aaron Gordon actually be the right power forward for Luka Doncic and the Lakers? Let's start with the Lakers. The biggest thing that immediately stands out to me is the fit. Luka Doncic is going to have the ball in his hands constantly. So the Lakers don't necessarily need another player who needs 15 or 20 shots every single night. They need guys who can play off Luka. They need players who can defend. They need athleticism. They need size. And they need players who can punish teams when Luka gets double-teamed. That's where Aaron Gordon becomes extremely interesting. Gordon isn't coming to Los Angeles to be the number 1 option. He's not coming here to dominate the ball. His value comes from everything he can do without the ball. He can run the floor. He can attack the basket. He can finish around the rim. He can defend bigger forwards. And we've already seen him play an important role next to Nikola Jokic. And that last part is huge. Because Jokic and Luka are obviously different players. But both of them can completely control a defense with their passing. Gordon has already proven that he can thrive alongside a superstar who creates opportunities for everybody else. Imagine Luka bringing the ball up the floor. The defense collapses. Walker Kessler is rolling toward the basket. Austin Reaves is spacing the floor. And Gordon is cutting behind the defense. That gives Luka another legitimate target around the basket. And that's something I think the Lakers need. Now let's talk about the biggest concern. Gordon's health. That's the reason I wouldn't look at this trade and immediately say the Lakers should do it. Gordon is entering his 30s and his injury history matters. The Lakers would be trading away younger players and taking on a veteran who needs to stay healthy for this move to really pay off. And that's the gamble. If Gordon is healthy during the playoffs, I think the Lakers could look completely different. But if he's unavailable when the games matter most, then suddenly you're asking why the Lakers gave up younger pieces for an older player with injury concerns. So for me, the question isn't whether Gordon can fit. He clearly can. The question is whether the Lakers believe he can stay healthy. Now let's talk about Denver. This is probably the easiest team to understand in this hypothetical trade. Denver is trying to build around Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray while also managing their payroll. If the Nuggets believe their current roster isn't good enough to make another championship run, then moving Gordon could give them financial flexibility. And according to the proposal, Denver would unload expensive contracts while bringing back younger players and future draft capital. That's important. Because Denver isn't just getting rid of Gordon. They're getting Nikola Jovic. They're getting Jake LaRavia. And they're getting multiple future second-round picks. That gives Denver more flexibility while they continue building around Jokic. And if they can create room to keep Peyton Watson long-term, that could be a major part of why they consider something like this. The Nuggets obviously aren't trading Gordon because they don't know what he can do. They've already seen what he can do. They're potentially trading him because they're trying to build a roster around Jokic that makes financial sense. And that's a completely different conversation. Now let's move over to Detroit. Detroit would receive Jared Vanderbilt and Dalton Knecht. And I actually think Detroit has a pretty interesting reason to consider this. Vanderbilt gives them another defensive weapon. We've already seen what Vanderbilt can do when he's healthy. He brings energy. He can defend multiple positions. He can make life difficult for opposing scorers. And Detroit already has one of the better defensive foundations in the league. So adding Vanderbilt could make that identity even stronger. Then you have Dalton Knecht. And this is where Detroit gets an intriguing offensive piece. Knecht has shooting ability and he's still young enough that Detroit could believe there's more upside there. So Detroit isn't just getting one veteran defender. They're getting a defensive piece in Vanderbilt and a young shooter in Knecht. For a team trying to build something sustainable around its young core. I can understand the logic. Now let's talk about Miami. Miami receiving Cameron Johnson and Bronny James is probably the part of this trade that gets the most attention. But if you're Miami, the attraction is obvious with Johnson. Shooting. Spacing. Size on the wing. And the ability to play alongside a superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo if that situation remains the direction of the franchise. The proposal points out that Johnson shot around 43% from three last season. And that's exactly the type of offensive skill Miami could use. Because when you have a player like Giannis who puts so much pressure on the paint, surrounding him with shooting becomes extremely important. Bronny would also give Miami another young player to develop. So Miami gets a veteran shooter plus a young developmental piece. And that's why this trade isn't completely random. Every team is getting something different. Denver gets financial flexibility and assets. Detroit gets defense and shooting. Miami gets shooting and youth. And the Lakers get the proven starting power forward. Now here's where I give you my personal Lakers opinion. If I'm looking at Aaron Gordon purely as a basketball fit, I like it. I actually think Gordon makes a lot of sense next to Luka. Because the Lakers don't need Luka to have another player constantly taking the ball out of his hands. They need someone who can make Luka's life easier. Gordon can screen. He can cut. He can run. He can finish. And defensively he gives the Lakers another big athletic body. Put Gordon next to Walker Kessler and suddenly the Lakers have a lot more size around the basket. Then you have Austin Reaves next to Luka. And now you're starting to see a lineup that has shooting creation, defense, athleticism and interior size. But I'm not going to sit here and say Aaron Gordon automatically makes the Lakers a championship team. That's too much. The Western Conference is still loaded. Oklahoma City is still a massive problem. San Antonio is getting better. And there are multiple teams that could make life extremely difficult in a 7-game series. But could Gordon make the Lakers better? Absolutely. And I think that's what makes this hypothetical interesting. The Lakers have already committed to building around Luka Doncic. So every move from this point forward should be about finding players who maximize Luka. And Gordon fits that philosophy much better than a player who needs the offense built around him. The biggest question is simply the risk. Are the Lakers willing to sacrifice younger pieces for a veteran who gives them a higher floor right now? Or do they continue developing the younger players and look for a different long-term solution at power forward? That's the debate. Because if Gordon stays healthy, Luka gets another elite cutter. The Lakers get more athletic. They get more defensive versatility. And they get a player who already knows what it's like to play deep into the playoffs. And if you put Luka Doncic, Austin Reaves, Aaron Gordon and Walker Kessler together, I think that is a lineup that would be extremely difficult to defend. But Lakers Nation, I want to hear what you think. Would you trade for Aaron Gordon in this 4-team deal? Or would you rather keep the younger pieces and continue looking for a different power forward? Let me know in the comments. And if you're a Lakers fan, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're going to keep breaking down all the Lakers news, rumors and potential trades. Lakers Nation, let me know. Would you bring Aaron Gordon to LA?